hole 10, about 250 feet. This is a hard one to film. So here's our pad, and there's a couple of ways to get there. There's an outside route and then there's an inside route. The outside route would be straight ahead through here, where you kind of see a break in the trees. There's like an opening. That opening is a pond. Don't go in there, it's gross. Then you have these two bushes here. You can see where there's a drop in the bushes. Straight away, there is another opening. And that opening is going to take you more towards the basket than that one will, the outside route will. So usually it's just like a righty hyzer to try and get through there. All right, I'm going to try and take a resistor and go through this gap between the bushes and try and get up there. This is not an easy one to hit right now with everything so grown in. This is dense today. Get through it. Well, got that tree at the entry. A few feet to the left and it would have been great. Okay, so another little jump hyzer putt to get me up there. As you can see, the back side's open, this side's open, center is pretty closed off. Little uphill too. Come on. Oh, off the rim. Dang it. Drop in 3. Hole 11. It's about 180 feet. As you can see, we have a tunnel here to hit. There is a double mando on this that we play during tournaments, leagues, etc. You got to be between these two trees that are at the start of the tunnel. So what it is like a hyzer shot. You hit the tunnel and you need to be fading over to the left. So a lefty hole, not exactly. They'd have to forehand it. But yeah, just basically a hyzer shot for 180 feet. All right, let's take a pyro to it. Hard telling. I caught a couple of branches on the way in, but it's a shorty. There we go. All right, hole 12, it's about 370 feet. As you can see, we are on a hill. This is a really cool hole. It's kind of scenic. But pad's right here, and you have to go out and be hooking up to the right. So I usually forehand this, but I've had turnovers work. I've seen anybody use any number of shots to make this one happen. So you need to just play the wind. Of course, we have the water right over there, so that's going to make it a little more challenging. Okay, I'm going to forehand photon again. And this is a punch. 372, 370, and the stuff on the right is really growing in. Well, it's just short of pin high, just down in the cabbage. Okay, outside the circle by this birdhouse. Oh, damn, so close. What's the name of the game? Today, tap in 3, I think is the name of the game. All right, hole 13, it's about 280 feet. You're throwing downhill and the ground slopes to the left too. So you can see this bush. Like if you look at the fairway and if you follow the left boundary and you keep going straight, there's a bush in the middle of the fairway. And the basket is just behind that. You want to be coming in just behind that, ideally to park the basket or run the basket. So, all right, I've got a Tesla We're going to try and pump it out there and let it come in at the bucket. That looks good. That's got to be just behind the basket. Can't be bad. All right, just a little bit in the cabbage here. A little bit of a death putt. But we got her. We got her. All right, this is hole 14. It's 252 feet. You might be able to see the basket just over the hill. So the way that this plays, you have the pad, a hump in the middle, drops down into a gully, and the gully goes back up slightly. So the basket is almost right level with where we are standing right now, maybe even a touch lower. But there's a grove of trees that it sits in. Straight at it shot, forehand shot that fades into the right. You can do any number of things to get there. I've even seen some people go high and outside and let it plinko through the trees. So you have a lot of options here. Okay, I'm gonna try to forehand a resistor off to the left, let the disc finish to the right. These pads are way too short. Miss it. All right, it's in there. It's not terrible. Okay, so resistor landed, I don't know, circle's edge. You can probably count my steps getting out here. So I would guess it was probably about 27, 28 feet. There is a chain kinked, which is stuck in my mind, but I managed to block her out. Hole 15, 366 feet. As you can see, we have a tunnel. Outside that tunnel, it opens up a lot. You want to be moving to the right when you get outside of that tunnel. You can see, maybe you can see out there, there's a flag. When you get to that point, you want to be moving to the right. If you go to the left or if you go long, it's bad news. To the left, you have a bunch of like ankle twisting gopher holes. And to the right, you have some really dense, really tall cabbage that you just don't want to have to get out of. So forehand, turnover, you got a lot of options here. Okay, because I really don't know what the wind is doing out there. It's been changing directions all day. I'm gonna opt to not go with the backhand turnover. I'm gonna go with the forehand with a photon and just get myself out there, hook up as much to the right as possible, deal with my upshot and take my putt. This tree on the right here, it's more in the way than the video really shows. And the tree on the left that's out there is also kind of in the way. So you really gotta kind of hit a spot here. That will do, I think, nicely. I think I'm by that flag, maybe a little bit further and to the right. All right, yeah, this is just to the right of that flag, that pink flag that I was pointing out. I'm probably 70 feet out, 80 feet out maybe, and it is uphill. So now I can feel the wind. It would have, if I would have thrown that turnover shot, it would have pushed it towards the bucket. So now I'm kind of wishing I would have done that, but it is what it is. Let's take a jump putt. Wind kind of shoved it down, but it is what it is. All right, you know it. Say it along with me. Drop in 3. Again. All right, hole 16, 299 feet. It feels like more than that when you're playing it. This hole is really tricky. As you can see, there's a lot of trees in the way and you really got to maneuver around them. So there is, I guess, kind of a tricky forehand line up to the left. There is a backhand line to the right that is a little more open. You just want to, I mean, honestly, to get to the basket is really tough, like super tough. It is a flex righty forehand that just has all the juice you can give it. So not an easy one to 2. If you can take the 3, you feel pretty good. So hopefully we can see, or I can show you how to take that 3 here. Okay, so the way I like to play this, I take a resistor, throw it up to the right, let it hyzer back towards the fairway. Then I have my upshot and my putt. So let's see what happens here. I'm gonna see if I can make this work. Oh, well, it kicked off the tree, but I'm in the fairway. Okay, you can see here now, there's the basket. My disc is here over a gopher hole, so that's another little plus. I'm gonna try and flex a hex up there. Go in, go in. Oh, just behind it. Not bad. I'll take it. There we go. All right, hole 17, it's about 350 feet. You might be able to see the basket just over the edge of the grass here on the right and between the tree and the bush. It is on a slope going upwards, and typically a really just mash on a forehand, and it'll kind of go up there towards the bucket depending on what the wind is doing. This area tends to be a bowl, so whatever the wind is doing off the water, it kind of swirls around and does some other things here. So backhand turnover, forehand, do what you gotta do. Okay, let's try a forehand with a photon. This is a mash to get there. God, I hate these pads. Push, 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 push. Yeah, that looks pretty great. Happy with that. All right, this is about as close as I've ever put it on this hole. This is great. There's one tip I can give you about the baskets out here. They're a little aged, and this is a continuous problem that I've seen. You can see here when you move the chains up, they stick. So if somebody putts and it stays there, that's gonna shrink the zone here for you. So I recommend pulling those forwards, give yourself a little more cushion. All right, last hole, 418 on this one. This is hole 18. Okay, so you have a couple ways to get there. And with this wind, as you can see, coming off the water, we have a lot of headwind. So good luck with any way that you choose. So there is the straight at it line through this gap in the trees. You do have some cabbage on the right-hand side over there, so if you backhand something, it turns over, you're gonna get into that. Then you have the outside line here, which is good for a forehand. So if you forehand this and you use something stable, it should finish out in front of that giant pine tree back there. So that'd be my recommendation. Okay, I'm gonna forehand something on the outside left, so photon, like always. I'm gonna put a little bit of hyzer on this so that it doesn't turn over. This headwind is getting pretty strong. I tend to avoid that gap because I swear, every time I go to use that gap, I hit the trees. So let's put something on the outside, let it come back to the fairway and deal with what we got then. Stay out of the wind. All right, so I kept it low so that the wind didn't mess with it too much. So let's see what we got. All right, so this has left me about a 180 out, maybe a touch less, but you can see here I'm on the left-hand side. I have a look at the basket and it's pretty clean. So this play is pretty safe. So I'm gonna take a pyro and see if I can't just chuck her up there. All right, little flare behind it, and there she is. And the mantra for the day, drop in 3.